J.D. Henry here, talking about my best-selling book from Amazon, the #1 seller, The Key to Understanding Credit. I want to talk to you today about how to get credit, of course. You can go online and fill out credit applications, of course, for MasterCard, Visa, American Express, and bank loans. You can go to your local bank and talk to a loan officer. But the main thing, you have to have a monthly income to be able to get credit. And that monthly income's got to be enough to pay your bills. And that's what takes place. You know, if you make $1,000 a month and you want to go in and borrow a certain amount of money, they're going to look, the banker's going to pull your credit report if you have credit already and check out how much money that you already owe. And on that credit report, it shows everything. It shows from MasterCard to Visa to anything that you currently have applied for, cards that you've been turned down, and everybody that you owe. And they have what they call a loan to value. They look at on that credit report. When they look at that credit report, they know how much money every month is going out and how much you're making. Therefore, can you afford that loan? Can you afford that credit card? And that's how they come up with how you can afford to pay back those bills. It's very, very important that you keep up with your credit. You can go to any of the credit bureaus, look up Experian. There's 3 of them. You can look them up. You can get your credit report free, one free a year. No charge. You can go online and get it, or you can call and get it. And it's good to verify that, to verify your credit, to make sure that all the credit is yours and it's not any identity theft. You can go down and look at all the credit that you have and double check it, make sure it is yours. And it's just like once you do get a credit card, you want to, they'll put a limit on that, a credit limit, and it'll be a certain day of the month that payment is due, and you'll have a minimum payment due on that credit card. What you do is, if you can pay the credit off every month, that's where kind of you beat the system. You're not getting any late fees. You're not having anything to do with high interest rates. That could be as high as 30% depending on the credit card that you're using. But you want to be very, very careful on spending and living on a budget, like I had mentioned earlier. Take care of business. Just monitor your credit because sometimes there are bills that are not yours. It could be somebody that charged on your credit, and you can put a credit freeze. You can call your credit unions and have them to freeze the credit. And how that works is that they will not allow anybody to open any other accounts in your name until everything's taken care of. So just be careful with that. I'll give you a true life example. When I was a young man, I had a roommate, and of course having that roommate was wonderful, helped me pay half the bills. We lived at a house, and that house had an address, and we got our mail at home there at the house. Well, a year went by or so, and I had saved enough money to be able to move out and to buy a house of my own. And so I was tired of renting and tired of a roommate. You know, sometimes roommates are good to help you on expenses. Sometimes they can eat you out of house and home if they're not buying enough groceries, like you're not splitting the groceries. But anyway, I moved out. Let's say 6 months later, I applied for a credit card. The credit card company sent me a notice, hey, you're turned down. You've already got this credit card. You're maxed out. And I didn't know what they were talking about. I didn't have a clue. I knew I didn't have that credit card. So anyway, long story short, I called the credit card company, told them, hey, send me all these charges on this credit card, you know. So they did. I got all the charges. Come to find out, my roommate had got a pre-approved credit card application at the old address where I used to live. He still lived there, and he got that credit card and he had maxed it out. Well, it was a nightmare because it took me about 6 months to prove to them that the credit wasn't mine, and I finally got it taken care of. And you want to keep real good records on everything. Keep all your receipts, build you a file on everything when you do have credit cards and your utility bills, whatever bills you have. It's very wise to be organized. You get organized, you keep up with the receipts, whether you pay it online, whether you pay it by writing it a check, or however you choose to have a form of payment. You want to keep records. And so once I did approve that credit was not mine, it was a big ordeal because my credit score had went down. It had dropped about 50 points, which hurt me. And then when I finally got it all straightened out, there again, it went up. So a wonderful thing. So you have to really monitor your credit and take care of it. Another individual story for me is that we live in a rural area. They were updating the rural addresses around here for 911 purposes, which means for emergency vehicles, fire, ambulance, sheriff's department, police department. Well, I've been living at this house for 10 years and the address was going to be changed due to the growth of the neighborhood, and they were re-addressing for the 911 situation. Well, I got a notice from a credit card company that I hadn't paid them, and I didn't know what they were talking about. And I went to my local bank and had them to pull my credit, and they could do it for me for free, and they did. And they pulled it, and so I saw that I did have an outstanding balance for 6 months on a credit card that had been charged on in California. Number one, I had never been to California. Somehow, some way, somebody had got that credit card number and it charged now. It was my fault because that credit card, I had about 3 credit cards at that time. You only really need 1, 2 max to be able to manage. And this credit card I didn't use. It was an active credit card. It was a current credit card. It was a good credit card. I didn't owe anything on the credit card. Somebody had fraudulently got the number and had charged something in California. Well, that's another incident, which took me 6 months to get everything corrected. And back to the 911 addressing that I was talking about. Originally, I did not get the notice that I owed them the money because they had the old address. Keep in mind, the old address was at the same residence, the same place I lived, but the new address was new and they did not update their files, and for some reason I didn't think to update them to them. So what happened, for months the bill did not go to them. It finally got to me, and then I had to find out, is that really my bill? I didn't know I owed that. But you know, it's your life. You've got to take care of it. You've got to make the choices. You know, everybody wants more money, more in 2024. It's totally up to you. You've got to take care of your own business. Invest in you. Invest in your future. Watch all your money where it's going. And you know, don't loan money to anybody, like I had said earlier. Protect your credit. Don't loan credit cards to anybody. When you're using your credit card, be sparingly with it. Same way with going to an ATM machine to draw out money. You want to make sure nobody's standing behind you. You want to protect your security. You want to protect your PIN number. Just be careful on what you're doing, and because there's so many ways of fraud today. And I had a dear friend that his daughter was on a dating app. She was lonely. She was in college. She was working part-time, going to school full-time. Being that she was lonely, she got on a dating app. She found a young man that she liked. He liked her. They exchanged colors. They knew everything about everything. I call it an internet love affair. And it's happened to everybody of all ages. But what took place, both of them knew each other's birthdays. They knew their favorite colors. They knew anything and everything about it. Well, one day the time come, because he knew that she did work. Like I said, they had talked about it. And the next thing you know, he asked her, well, you know, do you have any money? I can't pay my bills this month. And she says, yeah, I've got about $2,500 in my checking account. He says, well, would you mind loaning me about $1,500 for about 30 days? She says, well, I'll sure do that. Well, keep in mind, he wasn't even in the same state. We're in the state of Texas. He was in the state of Florida. And anyway, she, being in an internet love affair, she sent him the $1,500. As soon as she did that, the check cleared. The check was cashed. Next thing you know, she's looking for her internet boyfriend on the internet. He's nowhere to be found anymore. The page is gone. It's been dropped. She didn't know what to do. She's beside herself. Her rent's coming due. She goes to her parents. Her parents immediately go to the police station, talk to the police officer about it, and they said, well, this is going on all over the world. This is a certain group from overseas that is doing this. There's no way you'll ever get your money back. And so she was just devastated, but she was very lucky and fortunate that her mother and daddy could help her pay her upcoming bills and her rent, because what if that were to happen to you? Could you do that? So be very, very careful on who you're talking to. It's the same way if you're going on vacation, live in an apartment, live in a house. You don't want to put all your life story out there on Facebook or TikTok or anything. Let people, hey, I'm going to Hawaii for a week. I'll see you when I get back. Well, you get back and your house and apartment's been buggerized. It's the same thing. It's all about choices, doing the right things, like having your car parked somewhere, going to a grocery store, going shopping, and you don't have anything in that car but an empty backpack. It's empty. The burglar didn't know it. He's gonna bust your window out to get that backpack. So don't leave anything in your car like that. You put it in the trunk of your car, because they don't know if it's empty, and next thing you know, see, you've got a $500 window that's busted out. How are you gonna get it fixed? Do you have the money to pay for it? And that's like I said, where a rainy day fund comes in. You have been putting money away. Every time you get a check, you put money away for certain stuff like that. If you got a problem and you got up and had a flat tire and need that flat tire fixed, you have money to fix it. Maybe the tire's not fixable. There's been times that I've had a brand new tire on my vehicle, and I had a nail get in the sidewall of that tire. And they told me at the tire store, we can't fix this tire. We can't patch it because the nail's in the sidewall. So I had to buy a brand new tire at $100. Luckily, through the grace of God, I had enough on my credit card I could charge it and then pay it off at the end of the month. But keep staying tuned to J.D. Henry's podcast. I appreciate you listening today. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Be sure to go to Amazon and look at the links to the book. It's a #1 bestseller, and comment on the book. It'll help you. Invest in yourself, okay? Have a great day. Thank you.